Hello. Why is autism underdiagnosed or missed in girls? Autism is a disorder of the development and functioning of the brain. It causes problems with social interaction and communication and difficulties with behaviour, interests and activities. Children with autism also have sensory processing issues. Boys are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with autism than girls. Is that because the prevalence rates are higher? A study in UCL in 2017 by Looms et al. Showed that the true male-female ratio of people with autism is closer to 3-1 than 4-1. Recent research has shown that it's difficult to identify symptoms of autism in girls and women. This has led to delayed diagnosis, misdiagnoses, and some people not being diagnosed at all. As a result of this, many girls and women feel unsupported and do not understand themselves. This can lead to mental health problems. Indeed, in the teenage years, girls with autism are more likely to suffer from anxiety and depression than boys with autism, and also typically developing girls. So why are we not picking up these girls with autism? I will discuss some of the reasons for this in this video. I'm Dr. Beth Colby, a psychiatrist in London. 2 of the reasons for underdiagnosis in girls are diagnostic gender bias and gender stereotypes. Ever since the first published reports and descriptions of autism in boys in the 1940s by Hans Asperger and Kanner, it was thought that autism predominantly affected boys. Asperger initially believed that autism only affected boys. All 4 participants in Hans Asperger's study were boys, and 8 out of 11 participants in Kanner's study were boys, and all of Asperger's students were male. Thus, the model we have for classic autism is a male model. The diagnostic tests were developed with boys in mind, and they may fail to detect symptoms in girls, as they may not fit the stereotypical profile of a person with autistic spectrum disorder. This is even more likely if the girl does not have a behaviour or learning problem. Since the diagnostic criteria for autism is based on research and girls are underrepresented in clinical samples, the actual diagnostic criteria themselves are biased. A general lack of understanding about autism may mean that healthcare professionals, teachers, parents or caregivers can miss symptoms in girls. These include stereotypes about autism, such that somebody who is autistic has a keen interest in maths and science, and that autistic people are unable to form friendships. Researchers have also speculated a gender bias in parental reporting due to the expectations and socialisation of gender roles in society. The presence of repetitive behaviour and special interests is a key diagnostic criterion, and clinicians often look for stereotypically male interests such as train timetables and numbers during the diagnostic process. However, girls with autism do not necessarily have the same kind of special interests as typical autistic boys, and their interests are similar to typically developing girls, such as dolls, unicorns, pop stars, Disney, etc. And these are all socially accepted. They may become passionately and obsessively interested in these areas, but may not gravitate towards the more geeky areas of technology or maths. However, it's not about the particular thing or subject that somebody's obsessed about, it's about the level of interest, which is the important thing. Stereotypes about typical male and female behaviours can also get in the way of diagnosis for girls with autism. If boys isolated themselves and played alone and didn't speak much, they'd be more concerned, but if it's girls, people think, oh, they're naturally quieter anyway and more content to play alone. However, speaking less and preferring to be alone are symptoms of autism. As autism is more common in boys than girls, parents, caregivers, healthcare providers and people involved in education may be less likely to look for symptoms in girls. Another reason why a diagnosis of autism may be missed in girls is that boys and girls can present differently. This is because boys are more likely to react to stress outwardly, for example by becoming angry or misbehaving, and the behaviour is more visible and may flag up autism sooner. However, girls with autism are less likely to be aggressive but may become withdrawn and passive. And girls are more likely to react to stress with behaviours that are not noticed immediately, such as self-harm. They may be referred to professionals because of internalising symptoms such as anxiety, depression and eating disorders, but their healthcare professionals may miss the social dysfunction underneath all this caused by the autism. Sometimes girls may be misdiagnosed with ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, as they may have hyperactivity without the social and communication difficulties, so autism is missed. Many autistic women are not diagnosed because of their ability to camouflage or mask their symptoms by copying socially appropriate behaviour. Girls with autism tend to be more sociable and able to make friendships than boys with autism. From a young age, girls may not understand what's going on in a social situation, but they're able to get by copying what things around them and imitating what they see. Whilst they can do this in primary school, when it gets to secondary school, where relationships and social situations are more complex, they are then not able to do this. Girls with autism may become exhausted with the effort of trying to appear similar to other people and to fit in, and some may not actually be aware that they're masking in the first place. Many autistic girls may share a smile or give better eye contact and appear more socially motivated, so the diagnosis of autism may not cross somebody's mind. Undiagnosed autistic girls may end up wondering what's wrong with them, and this can lead to low self-esteem, anxiety and depression. Some symptoms of autism may be less common in girls than boys, or may be milder. For example, repetitive behaviours such as lining up toys, a fascination with swirling wheels or parts of objects, obsessions with trains or video games or mechanical objects are more common in boys, and these symptoms are easier to spot than difficulties with communication or socialising. Girls with autism may have milder symptoms or simply different ones. Their intense interests may appear more normal and less repetitive. Some researchers wonder if girls' obsessions and rituals might not show up on autism screenings or be flagged by parents because they seem neither odd nor unmanageable. Girls control their emotions much better at school than boys do, and they act far differently at school than they do at home. Teachers are less likely to voice concern about girls than boys, and this is possibly because boys are more disruptive. However, often girls manage to hold their emotions and behaviour in when they're at school, but when they get home, then they implode and have a meltdown. Trying to blend in at school is difficult for children, but also it may hinder diagnosis, as the teacher may not be aware that the child has difficulties. It may be that there are different autism profiles for boys and girls. That is, they may differ in the ways that they exhibit the strengths and the challenges of autism. Boys with autism tend to have a very repetitive and limited areas of play, whereas girls with autism are less repetitive and have broader areas of play. Girls with autism are more likely than boys to be able to respond to non-verbal communication, such as pointing or gaze following. They are also less prone to be distracted and they're more focused. Research into how the symptoms of autism may differ in boys and girls may help in the development of diagnostic criteria that pick up the symptoms of autism present in girls. An understanding of how autism presents differently in girls will also help in understanding their different needs and providing them with the right supports and interventions. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been of interest. Bye for now.